Fazio. I want to talk to you today about the Zentflex toothbrush. This toothbrush has a very unique mechanism to help people stop brushing too hard. We know that brushing too hard is a problem with many of our patients, and we worry about certain dental problems that this can cause. You hear about enamel abrasion, and that's actually not our biggest concern. Enamel is the hardest structure in the human body, and so it's not likely to be abraded. Abrasion is simply the mechanical wearing away of tooth structure with repeated motions, and we actually worry about two other problems a little bit more. We worry about gum recession. The gum tissues surrounding the teeth are pretty delicate, and so they can be damaged and irritated by hard brushing forces that causes them to back away from the tooth. And then gum recession causes the other concern that we run with hard tooth brushing, and that's root abrasion. As the gums recede, they expose the roots of our teeth. And roots don't have enamel. They do not have that hard protective coating that the external portion of our tooth does. So when the root is exposed and you brush very hard, you are very likely to suffer from abrasion of the root surface. Abrasion of the root surface actually removes tooth structure. Both gum recession and root abrasion are irreversible problems. In order to repair them, you have to have some extensive dental treatment. They won't just come back whenever you stop brushing too hard. So it is something that you want to prevent. The way that Zentflex has proposed to help address this problem is by creating a toothbrush. I've got mine here. Creating a toothbrush that reaches a certain amount of force and then breaks. And so you cannot put more than, in their case, 150 grams of force. And the way that this protects your teeth is that as soon as you start to push harder than that, this toothbrush will break and not allow you to push any harder. A lot of electric toothbrushes have certain mechanisms aimed at controlling the amount of force you put on the teeth. There are lights that beep at you, lights that shine, or sounds that beep at you, but they don't really stop you from putting the force on it. So this is a brilliant solution. The reason they chose 150 grams as the threshold of force is that there is a certain amount of force required to remove dental plaque. Dental plaque is the sticky buildup that contains bacteria that cause cavities and gum disease. You need to remove plaque every single day. But it takes a certain amount of force to do that. It makes sense that more force will remove more plaque. The problem is more force also runs the risk of removing vital tooth structure. So what they wanted to do is find an amount of force that will remove plaque without running the risk of damaging the tooth structure underneath. The roots of our teeth are covered in a very thin layer of something called cementum, and in cases of gum recession and abrasion, that cementum is gone very quickly, and what's left is the dentin underlying that. Dentin is the core structure of our teeth, and it has these tubules that are like pores connecting the outer surface with the nerve inside the tooth. This is how sensitivity happens. This is when the tubules, they actually change in size in response to various stimuli. And so whenever the tubules enlarge, more sensation can pass through, so you're more likely to feel hot and cold inside the tooth. And then there are some stimuli that can actually shrink the size of those pores and improve sensitivity. One scientific study showed that with increased force, the tubules open as to be expected. Interestingly, the opposite was also true. With a lower amount of force, the tubules actually shrunk in size. And that force was between 100 and 150 grams. And so that's how you can get some improvement in tooth sensitivity with something like the Zentflex toothbrush. With the brush itself, I used it, and what I learned was that I brush way harder than I think that I do. I've typically always used an electric toothbrush, and I get the little beeps telling me I'm pushing too hard and just keep on going. What I also noticed was that I had differing brushing techniques that were more likely to make it break than others. So when I used a nice circular motion, which is what is recommended for plaque removal, it was less likely to break that joint at 150 grams. When I went straight back and forth, I was more likely to cause an increase in pressure and break the joint in the Zentflex toothbrush. So I had an interesting experience. It made me laugh because it kept clicking and breaking as I was going around different areas of my mouth. An interesting thing I observed was the longer I used it, the more times I used that toothbrush, the more I wanted to brush without breaking it. So it became a training tool to teach me which motions would cause an increase in pressure and which motions were safe. So my opinion of this toothbrush is that it would be a wonderful tool to recommend to any patients who suffer from either hypersensitivity or abrasion and damage to the root surface from really heavy brushing. As people are using it, they will likely notice that they have certain areas that they press harder than others, and those are typically correlated to the areas of sensitivity. The brush was very nicely packaged. It's lightweight. The bristles are soft. Overall, it's a very well manufactured product. In my opinion, I would recommend this toothbrush to someone that I saw who had a problem with sensitivity or abrasion. I think it's a great training tool. I think it definitely will reduce the risk of damage from abrasion. It will protect the teeth, and I think there's a good chance that it also would reduce or eliminate sensitivity in certain areas. So I give it 2 thumbs up.